The film begins with two siblings playing video games at night. Sister tells her brother to go to sleep, but he is afraid to go into his room because he thinks a ground monster is hiding in his room. The sister goes and searches his room thoroughly, saying, "Checked every corner, there's no monster here." But then, the door of the room closes automatically and the boy standing outside hears a monster's drony sound from inside. Then, a monster actually comes out of the room and chases the boy. It's then revealed that it was just a movie, which many children are watching in the movie theater, including Marshall and his friend. Marshall's friend found the movie very strange, so he gets up from his seat and goes out, followed by Marshall. As soon as he comes out, his friend's breathing becomes heavy, so he uses his inhaler. Then, Marshall asks him, "Why are you so scared?" He also reminds him that next Sunday is Halloween. And if he keeps being scared like this, how will he celebrate Halloween? How will he enjoy it? Marshall and he go to meet a woman who owns an antique shop. She tries to scare him in a werewolf costume. After meeting her, he leaves and heads home. Marshall explains to his friend that he must control his fear, but rather face it. He tells him to go and ring Kaboot's doorbell. The neighborhood kids avoid Kaboot because they think he's a serial killer. His friend musters up the courage to ring the doorbell straight, runs. That night, while Marshall is at home, his mother calls her friend over, and they have dinner together. Marshall was deeply offended by her arrival, so he angrily left his meal mid-meal and went to his room. A short while later, Marshall's mother came into the room to talk to him. She said, "I also want to move on with my life." With that, she left. Just then, Marshall heard a faint voice on his walkie-talkie, which belonged to none other than his friend, who was saying, "Marshall, quickly, quickly, look out the window." Because they both lived in the same apartment, and even then, his friend's voice suggested he was quite nervous. Marshall quickly went to the window, and when he looked out, he saw two men carrying a large box inside Kaboot's house. Seeing the box, his friend became terrified, thinking it must be someone's dead body. But Marshall thought for a moment, and the next moment, he said, "Or it could be a statue or something precious, right?" Because? Anyway, the actions of the cupboard are similar to this strange. Now the next day, Marshall and his friend meet their classmate, and she starts telling her everything about last night. The classmate tells them that she wants to become an investigative reporter when she grows up, but she never got to see anything interesting. Now they go to the school museum, where strange things are kept. Because today was a museum trip for these children, during which they are shown a strange and unique thing, which was a mummy. Now the classmate notices a strange thing in it, that this mummy is kept in a coffin, while another coffin is also kept near it, but it was empty. This means that there were not one, but two mummies there. Then the teacher tells that the second mummy has been stolen by someone recently. The story goes that the two mummies loved each other deeply when they were alive. Their families couldn't separate them, so they mummified them and sealed them in a coffin forever. But yesterday, one of the mummies was stolen. Now, after a trip to the museum, Marshall immediately says that the mummies must not have stolen the coffin. Hearing this, the classmate becomes serious and asks, "Tell me, how long was the box you saw coming into the cupboard? How many people did it take to lift it?" As Marshall answers, the classmate's suspicion grows stronger that the mummies were in that very box. They hatch a plan. Falls. As soon as Kaboot leaves his house, the three children take flashlights and enter his basement. Marshall's friend, terrified, stands huddled near a lighted chandelier. But then, his eyes fall on a large box covered with a sheet. Slowly, he removes the sheet. What was this? The moment he sees it, the ground beneath his feet slips away. It was the coffin of the mummies that he had been hiding in. Seeing this, he is shocked, and his eyes fall on a locket around his mother's neck. He extends his hand to look carefully. But then suddenly his mother falls on him. He screams loudly and immediately runs to Marshall and his classmate. Meanwhile, a little light coming from the ceiling falls on his mother's locket, and her mother slowly starts moving and suddenly becomes alive. After some time, when all three come back to the basement, his mother is not there. At first, it seems that Marshall's friend has told a lie. But as soon as they turn back, his mother is in front of them. Seeing this, all three go straight towards Kaboot's room. They start running, and Mummy follows them. But instead of harming them, she simply picks up Marshall's friend's flashlight and places it in his hand, which he drops in panic. Seeing this, the classmates realize Mummy isn't a threat. Just then, Kaboot's car sounds, so the three of them leave the house. When Kaboot goes to his friends, he finds only an empty coffin. Mummy is missing. Seeing this, he comes out worried. The three of them decide to temporarily hide Mummy at Marshall's house until a solution is found. Mummy was following them. Marshall brings Mummy to his house and offers her pizza and hot sauce, which Mummy finds strange at first, but as he eats it, he really likes it. This reminds Marshall of another friend of his, Harold, who always loved this sauce. Therefore, he names Mummy Haroldy. The next day, Marshall's mother has work to do at work, so she leaves the house. Marshall also leaves for school and asks Harold, his mother, to stay at home quietly. But Harold leaves instead. There, he spots a bus with a picture of an Egyptian princess on it. It brings back memories of his mother's life with her friend from 4,000 years ago. He reaches for the picture, but the strap around his body gets caught in the bus. As the bus starts moving, Harold is dragged along behind it. Meanwhile, after school, Marshall, his friend, and classmates arrive home and find Harold, his mother, nowhere to be seen. So the three set out to find him. Harold wanders around the museum and, upon seeing the picture of the Egyptian princess on the door, goes in without thinking. When the three arrive, they suspect Harold must have been inside as well. Immediately, find Harold and secretly bring him out. They couldn't keep him in the museum as his mother was still alive. They arrive at their fellow shop owner's shop. The shop owner takes a picture of the mummy's locket, the locket that brought him back to life, and says there's something written on it. "I'll tell you what it is after translating it," she says. Meanwhile, Kaboot meets a woman who helped them steal the mummy, but the mummy had disappeared. Kaboot explains the details to her, but she says she doesn't know anything about it, she needs money as soon as possible, and asks him to leave. The shop owner translates the words written on the locket using Google and understands it. She tells the three of them that his moonlight can bring the mummy back to life. Harold must return to his coffin within 3 days of his return, or else he will turn to dust. Harold had been alive for 2 days, meaning only 1 day was left. People would rush to Kaboot's house. They go to check his basement, but the coffin isn't there. It turns out Kaboot has sent him somewhere else. In the basement, Kaboot finds Marshall's friend's inhaler, the last one he fell into. He had written his name on the inhaler, which leads Kaboot to believe the kids stole Mummy. The rest of the gang is sitting with Mummy and planning their next day when Kaboot arrives with his gang and questions them about Mummy. Marshall boldly replies, "Mummy is behind you." At first, Kaboot thinks it's a joke, but when he turns around, he sees Harold Mummy. Mummy picks up some of the people in the closet, throwing them away, and they flee with Mummy. On the way, they find Marshall's mother's friend, who tells them that there's an ice cream factory on Route 12 where they can find the coffin. They then consider seeking the shop owner's help to get there, but she's busy preparing for a festival, so everyone else ends up there as well. Kaboot learns that all the children have gone to the festival, so he also sets off. There, they find the shop owner, whom they ask for help. Just as they're about to leave, Kaboot and his men arrive and block their path. A man pulls the locket from Mummy's neck, and as soon as the locket is removed, Mummy reverts. Kaboot then takes Mummy and leaves, and the four men follow him. Arriving at the factory, Kaboot shows Mummy to a man who came to buy her. He agrees and gives them money. Marshall and his friends have a plan: send Harold back to his coffin, or he'll be killed forever. Harold is afraid to enter it. Marshall explains something to him, and Harold musters up courage and moves on. But then Marshall is caught by the men in the cupboard. Marshall's friend tries to grab the locket, but Marshall already grabs the locket and throws it towards Harold's mummy. As soon as the locket falls around Harold's neck, the mummy comes back to life. As soon as he revives, he begins to torture everyone in the cupboard, picking them up and throwing them away, beating them mercilessly. After this, they all tie him up with a rope and quickly run towards the museum. Once inside the museum, Harold revives his friend, and the two embrace and breathe their last sighs. After which, they both lie down in their coffins, ready to sleep forever. The news then shows that a mummy has come to the museum and laid down in the coffin on its own, which was quite shocking news, and it was Harold who was talking about it. The thief who had come to the mummy, the dove, and his companions were also caught by Marshall, and his mom's friend also became good friends because Marshall also understood that he is a good person and will always take very good care of my mom, and they decide to live like a happy family, and with this happy ending, the story of this film ends.